Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for coordinating today's hearing. Thank you to the witnesses for appearing today, and Mr. Schiffelbein for hosting us. Really I think this is special in a way to have the Ways and Means Committee travel here to Minnesota rather than having you have to come to Washington, D.C. First of all, it's a benefit to you all. It's also a benefit to us because we're here, we can see, we can hear, we can talk, and so we appreciate all of you very much. Mr. Schiffelbein, if I can with you, and I want to follow up with Dr. Murphy's question about Prop 12, because you talked about that in your opening statement, in your testimony. We're speaking here to a national audience. This is being broadcast across the nation. Can you first, in your own words, explain Prop 12 to those people across the nation, and then from a real-world perspective, how that could affect you?
Yeah, and for me specifically on hogs, it's not going to affect, but it's the cascading effect that matters. And what it is, it's the government getting involved in areas they simply have no knowledge on. So what happens is activists whose goal, and this is the key thing that most people don't realize, the activist goal is to put us out of business. Okay, plain and simple. It's to put us out of business. So they put wraparound words with animal husbandry, etc., and they try to pass laws, and sometimes they pass propositions that, in essence, put you down a track of going out of business. When we can't fundamentally raise hogs and pork the way we can efficiently do it, it costs us money and we lose the profits on it. So from my perspective, it's a dangerous, dangerous precedent. And if you would go a little deeper into it, you will find the industry was well on its way with a path to get to exactly where they were, only maybe done through a more methodical place that doesn't put a burden on anybody.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Mr. Vold, you talked a lot about, you've been asked a lot about USMCA and Canada and the way Canada has been treating dairy farmers. Can you give maybe some, it's always good for me to hear real-world practical stories. Can you talk about the real-world effects that's had in Canada's compliance or non-compliance with dairy farmers that you know?
Thank you, Congressman. Yes, and I'm going to refer back to the Class 7 situation back in 2017 because that's probably the most real-world situation that I have personally seen people's faces on or talked to that were directly involved or affected by that. When you take an industry like my industry or my business and you get that phone call that says your output for your product is done, I can't store anything. I still have to be responsible to the animal welfare of the animals that are on my farm. I have to make sure that they're well fed. I have to do everything in my power to make sure that I don't have a Prop 12 show up in my backyard. So when you see families like this that cannot find a home for their milk, their income stream is done. And like we talked earlier, in the situation we're in right now, especially in the Midwest with a surplus of product, and also running into, we talked a little bit about labor when you have processing plants that aren't able to run all their shifts because they don't have the personnel there to operate it. And when you have truckers that aren't available to move your product a great distance to get it to another market, you are in a world of hurt. And these families, like I said before, when you have been a multi-generational family like mine and your business is potentially done because of something else that a foreign government did to you. And I will stress this, being part of the co-op system, being a part of the co-op system and not part of a private processor, I know that my milk will always find a home because that is the commitment that my co-op has made to me and my family. So thank you.
Mr. Bolt. Thank you again to our 5 witnesses, and I yield back.